Boo, but we also ask that you stay on your side of the barricade and leave the action on this side.
Well, that is Otis Cogar and Sonny Defarge, and we're getting right into this here. I am Benjamin. Oh, geez, there's Atticus, and we've got Cornelius Crumbles, Sonny Defarge, Atticus, and Otis Cogar out here starting off Revengeance. Obviously not joined by Joe Dombrowski as he's trying to break this up. We have referees. We have Nick Lendl. Heck of a way to start off our event this month. If you've been following us, you know the bad blood between these two teams. We're going to try and regain some semblance of order here to start off. And obviously Lendl not able to even get through the customary announcements, and they're going right back at it. We've seen the blood, the bad blood I mentioned between these two teams. The Cogars stolen the masks of Uppercut Ulysses and Dropkick Dave, the close personal friends of Defarge and Crumbles, and we're gonna have to have some natural progression here, some natural order to these two, and I don't envy anybody out here. That's why I'm glad to be up here, and I believe Joe Dombrowski just made a decree or.
Stay here! You want those titles? You want to go here? Stay here!
Yeah, Joe laid down the law.
That's the match. You guys tomorrow. That's enough.
Well, it looks like we're gonna have Defarge and Otis Cogar going at it right now. Didn't want to hear Lendl anyway. With Defarge taking over early. You know, I mentioned earlier, we've seen a lot from these two individuals. We've seen violence, we've seen mayhem, and that's just speaking the Cogars and the combination as a whole. As we see Defarge with the early advantage. You'd have to wonder, and joining me now, Joe Dombrowski. Joe, you leave me to do this by myself. What is going on?
I leave. I never got here to begin with. It's absolute carnage in the back. The Cogar brothers and Defarge and Crumbles, their rivalry spilling over from that tag team championship street fight last month. The rivalry spilling over from the stolen mask. The rivalry spilling over from the bad blood these men have felt since these men have first intertwined their careers in Premier Championship Wrestling. This match was not scheduled this early on the card. Hell, the show hadn't even begun yet. But it's Otis Cogar and Sonny Defarge one-on-one now. Atticus and Cornelius to meet less than 24 hours from now on live pay-per-view Welterweight Wrestling 2 DVD MP4 release as well at joe-dombrowski.com. I'll get the cheap plug in before things get too intense again. It's Otis Cogar, the power of the Cogar brothers, versus Sonny Defarge, the power of the traveling businessmen. And this is going to be a physical encounter. As you can tell, these men have been trying to get at each other all afternoon. We've had extra security in the back, the referees. And you can see Atticus wants to fight everybody now. Otis with a cover in the ring, but I've never met somebody as unstable and as just emotionally impulsive as Atticus Cogar. He will fight the world, and he'll do it to bludgeon, to hurt, to maim. He'll do it for his own personal pleasure. Atticus wants to watch the world burn, and so far they've done that with the tag team division in Premier Championship Wrestling. They're dominant.
Well, the Cogars definitely two individuals with a chip on their shoulder, to say the least. And we saw that just starting off with Otis just flying right down the ramp. I mentioned it was nice to start off a show without having to hear Nick Lendl.
Well, I mean, I hate to see any event start out where there's so many bodies and dangerous. Otis drops Defarge. That power slam. And that's a 2 count. Otis, such a low center of gravity. He's got so much mass on his frame. Otis does a lot to back up Atticus in many ways physically. Atticus fashions himself as the leader of the Cogar Brother tag team. But it's Otis's muscle, it's Otis's intimidation that lets the sick and twisted mind games of Atticus play out before all of us.
And when you have a man of Otis's size, you know, it's like a cannonball coming at you.
Senton into a count of 2. says the official. And, you know, I mean, you think back to the Cogar brothers, how they've strategically placed some of those masks, how they've threatened me, how they've threatened Defarge and Crumbles, how they've just been watching and following all of us like prey, like victims for so long, whether we've realized it or not. And the Cogars had mentioned on the Premier Championship Wrestling social media that they would die for these masks, they would kill for these masks. It represents their conquest, it represents their takeover, it represents the power they felt watching the air leave the body of Dropkick Dave and Uppercut Ulysses. It's a sick way for these individuals, including that sick individual, Atticus, to relive in their minds the pleasure of hurting another human being time in and time out every time they hold those masks in their hands.
And Joe, you may not like it, but a smart move by Otis there, distracting the official. Atticus able to do damage.
You can see the look on the face of Cornelius Crumbles, who is, and I told both these men, stay in your corners, and that's what they've done so far. Crumbles does not want to violate that. There's an uppercut by Defarge, and you know there's that uppercut and dropkick spirit still in Defarge and Crumbles through the entirety of this rivalry. Check this out. Belly to belly overhead, nicely done.
You got to give it to Defarge. That's not an easy task to just throw the bigger of the two Cogars up over his head.
Maybe a bit of concern in the body language of Atticus as Crumbles sees some hope in Sonny Defarge.
And Joe, I think the people watching this would have to figure, and I would have to think that this fight has been going on since way before they came through the curtain, has it not?
Oh, without question. Again, they were trying to get at each other all afternoon as Defarge trying to take Big Otis down again. It's just a collision. Center ring. It is mass on mass. And Otis gets the upper hand.
Well, I was fixing to say that Defarge has to use his body as a weapon, but that's just exactly what Otis Cogar did right there.
There's a 2 count only. And again, frustration in Atticus, who has so much anger and so much turmoil going on through his mind. He's so unpredictable. He's like a whirling dervish of destruction. And so much, look at this. Oh, so many evil doings in the mind of Atticus Cogar as Otis sends Defarge's skull first into the corner. Crumbles trying to give some words of encouragement there, but I'll tell you, I don't even know what it's going to take to settle this rivalry. I thought the street fight would do it, but we saw Atticus take one of the Premier Tag Team Championships that wasn't even his at the time. He had no claim in, he had no stake for. Struck Crumbles in the skull. Crumbles was still battling concussion symptoms. Oh, and Otis Sternum first into the corner. The Cobras won the tag titles. That only intensified this rivalry. It may never end.
Well, if you thought it was personal...
Uppercut!
I thought I could talk over that. If you thought it was personal before with the masks, and let's talk about this, we're around Halloween time, but this is not a costume. This is not some cute little thing. This is a way of life. The masks mean everything.
Uppercut!
They did. They meant everything to Uppercut Ulysses and Dropkick Dave, and even more so to Defarge and Crumbles. Thank you very much, Joe Dombrowski. And that's a symbolizing not only
Uppercut!
the professionalism of the wrestling business, but their friends as well. And the Cobras have taken that and the titles and everything that they and the culmination have done.
I want to slam to Big Otis!
To a different level. You know, you didn't say that with the same feverish nature that you say uppercut.
That's a huge impact. And again, it takes so much to get Otis off the ground as the running uppercut by Defarge connects.
Well, the bigger of the two.
Oh, wait a second. Atticus in that uppercut mask. I knew that's very symbolic. That's psychological warfare on Defarge. And here comes Coles. Let's break it down again.
Well, Joe, you had mentioned about staying in their corners. You had to think that this wasn't going to last.
No, Otis a sidewalk slam. And no, Otis couldn't beat him. But we got chaos on the outside. Can we get some help out there?
Joe, you need some kind of restraint between these two.
Wait a second. What? Otis and Atticus were plotting something, and Defarge stuck in with a roll up for 3. And Atticus just springing in the ring. And this battle continues.
Well, Joe, we've said it how many times. It's not always about the wins and losses. Give credit to Defarge there. That was a smart move while Otis was distracted. But it's more than that to these 4 individuals at this point. And certainly to the Cobras. So this could go on all night.
I'll tell you what, this is... This company may not be big enough for both these teams, as Otis drills Crumbles. I'm not sure what the Cobras were plotting, but Defarge stuck him with that roll-up in the nick of time. And there you see the drop-kick and uppercut masks. Defarge and Crumbles had them for a moment in the finals of the tag tournament. But the Cobras proved to be one step... Now what? No.
Well, Joe's leaving me at this point. I don't know what the Cogers have in mind, but this isn't good news for Crumbles or Defarge. And not that there's anything good that comes from the Cogers. Not a good, wholesome family, but this is definitely a step too far, a step in the wrong direction. As we see Joe Dabrowski out there now attempting to...
Hey, put that down. Put that down.
Joe, you better get out of there, or this is going to be a one-man show. It seems that Sonny Defarge and Cornelius Crumbles, at least at this point, have avoided further injury, and Atticus Cogar not happy about it whatsoever. Joe, for crying out loud. Look at those two faces, and that tells you everything you need to know about the Cobras.